Oh, I was on mute. So there you go. I'm Jessica Magooch, CEO of JPM Partners, and I'm here to share with you all the best sales tips for growing your startup. I built a $100 million sales team in 3 years, and now I'm an impact investor. So my passion is helping people learn how to sell and how to build and scale their sales teams so that they can get their products and services out to the market quickly and beat that competition. So today, what I wanted to talk about is whether or not you can whether you should go with a commission only sales model or a base plus commission model. Now, the reason why I was so inspired to do this live today was because there's a lot of talk in the market, and I keep hearing over and over that the only respectable way to grow a sales team is with base salaries. And if you have a commission-only sales team, then you're creating it's automatically equates to a churn and burn environment and desperation among salespeople, right? But that's just absolutely not true. I think just because maybe you haven't, as a sales leader, built a successful commission-only sales team doesn't mean that it can't be done and that nobody's doing it. So, as you know, I've built a very successful commission-only sales team. My mentor and trainer, Vincent Roazzi, has done it multiple times, brought companies out of bankruptcy and into public offerings and growth startups because of the ability to build a successful, professional, highly trained, highly motivated, full-time commission-only sales team. If you fit the requirements that I'm going to let you know about below, then a commission-only sales team is the best way to scale your company and your sales team quickly so you can dominate the market and make competition irrelevant. So I'm going to tell you how to do it today because I've advised many companies on this, on whether or not they should go with a commission-only model, and it's not right for everyone, okay? I think if you don't meet these requirements and you attempt to build a commission-only sales team, that's when the potential for failure is much higher, okay? So follow these tips I'm going to give you, and I'll let you know about how you can get a recording of a training that we did on how to build a commission-only compensation plan that's competitive and gets the best people on. All right, are you ready? Okay, awesome. So number one, your product or service has to have a short sales cycle. And by that, I mean you either have to have an entry-level product or an entry-level market where your deals can be closed within 1 to 4 weeks of a lead being generated. So for us, that meant that new reps were working on closing small, medium-sized businesses and self-employed people while they were working on the larger corporate deals that, of course, take much longer to close, okay? So they need to get paid quickly. They can't work for free forever. So if you have a really long sales cycle, what that means is that your sales reps can't work for you full time. And then you get part results if you get any results. So all this is kind of being built around helping them make the choice to work for you exclusively when you might not even be able to require that they work for you exclusively. So one, short sales cycle. Okay. Number two, you must provide qualified free leads to your commission only reps. This is like a huge thing I see missing. If you expect reps to generate leads from scratch or to tap into their networks, then they're going to experience slow growth, right? We know how long it takes to create a marketing funnel where we're getting leads in consistently. So a rep doesn't have the time to invest in that. You'll lose them before they start producing. So you must provide qualified leads, at least 7 to 10 per week for at least the first 3 months to get them started while they start building up their own marketing funnels. And you can either do that with an in-house sales development SDR team or purchasing leads from an outside, outsourcing that process. But you must provide qualified free leads. Third is you have to have an accountability and rewards program. So on one side, they've got to keep reps accountable for activity. I don't care how experienced they say they are. That doesn't mean that they shouldn't be accountable. And because you're providing leads, it gives you something to be them to be accountable for, and for you to take away if they're not being accountable. So accountability for their activity on a weekly and daily basis in the beginning, and then weekly basis ongoing. And then on the flip side of that is rewards, rewarding them for reaching their goals and reaching their targets, right? One thing I like to change a little bit of perspective on how to approach accountability and rewards is, even though you're not paying a base salary, the best salespeople are going to demand, a six-figure base salary. So treat them as if you're giving them a 100K base salary. And how would you then keep them accountable for reporting? And what kind of rewards would you put in place? And what kind of training and leadership would you provide and support to make sure you got your investment back, right? All that has to go, all the same things have to go into building a successful commission-only sales model. Number 4 is you must have in place a self-guided boot camp style sales training where your reps can get trained in a week or less and out into the field selling. When they come on to your opportunity and they're excited and they sign an agreement, they're hot, right? Just like a prospect. You need to take advantage of that. You need to take advantage of that and get them trained quickly and out into the market as fast as possible. Often when people have base salaries, they take their time a little bit to get trained, and you see longer ramp up periods. You can't afford that with commission only. They need to get money in their pockets ASAP, and they can't wait for you to have time on your calendar to train them. So you have to have some kind of self-guided training program. So a digital sales playbook or a video training program where they can take themselves through it and then come to you for field training and support. Also, that gives you the ability to hire entry-level reps and give them all the training they need to get into the market quickly, which is a huge advantage when you're recruiting for salespeople. Number 5 is you need to have experienced leadership that's used to running commission-only sales teams and is also compensated for performance only. So the leaders are also compensated on commission overrides on their sales team. And their main role is to motivate and inspire people and to sell them every day on why this is the best sales opportunity right now in the market. And they'll also be in charge of keeping accountability, reporting. They're the liaison between the salespeople and the C-level leadership. And then ideally, leaders are promoted from within. Of course, you can't do that in the beginning, but for every 10 sales reps, you're going to need to promote another sales leader to manage. That's about what a person can handle effectively is 10 reps. So if they know that they have that reward ahead of them, that they can be promoted to leadership, that's just another incentive, and then they'll get additional overrides. But a leader should not, in the beginning they'll have to, but over time, a leader should really be focused on leading and not selling. You don't want your leader to be competing with the salespeople to close deals, right? We don't want that kind of relationship. If anything, if a leader gets a deal or a lead from their own network, they pass it down to their best salespeople as a reward, okay? They should not be closing deals. They're not going to have the time to close and follow up with deals effectively. And it creates an environment. You don't want to have a competitive environment where the leaders are competing with the salespeople. And then number 6 is the best compensation plan on the market, right? Like commission-only sales plan cannot be, of course it can't be less than, but it cannot be equal value to an opportunity that has base plus commission if you're operating at plan. So at plan, a commission-only compensation plan has to be far superior to a base plus commission model of what you would earn selling the same amount on a base plus commission, right? So if I'm at 100K at plan for a base plus, then I need to be at 175, 200 if I'm on commission only. Okay. So a compensation plan that's built with to overcompensate for the time and money that maybe a rep isn't putting, cash into the business, but as long as they're not getting paid and they're working, they're investing in the company, and their families still have to eat and they still have to pay their bills. So all that time that's invested needs to be overcompensated for when they do produce. So that means high commissions. It means ongoing commissions on renewables for life. So anyone that they bring in after a certain vesting period, they're entitled to those commissions and renewals for all those accounts for life. They have to have advance on commissions if they're not going to make enough to pay their bills based on what they can sell on a monthly commission of your product. You need to be able to advance commission so they can work for you full time. And profit sharing or stock options, again, after a vesting period, they need to take ownership in your company. They need to be compensated just like an investor would because they've invested in your company, where someone on a base salary hasn't invested. You've invested in them, but they haven't invested in you. So on a commission only model, they're investing in you just like any other investor. And so that's shown with profit sharing and stock options that vest after a certain time. It also helps bring a ownership mentality into the sales reps. So they're not working like employees. They have a different mindset. So they're now taking ownership. And so this helps them actually when they're promoting your brand into the market. It takes on such a different concept, right? They're less likely to badmouth and all that, because even if someone else is winning, it's less of a competition and more of a collaborative effort, because if someone else on the team's bringing in a ton of sales, that's good for me if I have profit sharing and too, right? So everyone's working together. And of course, bonuses, promotions, incentives, rewards, trips, all of that. This will help them be able to work full time for you because the compensation is worth it. And number 7, so it has to be the best compensation plan on the market. Like whatever your competitors are offering, it has to be far superior to attract the right reps. Number 7 is you have to have full-time reps, right? And so if you've done everything else I've said so far, then that'll give your reps ability to work for you exclusively full-time, which you need, because if they're working part-time or freelancing here and there, you're going to get, part-time results if you get any results. I rarely see that work. So you have to create an opportunity where even if you can't tell them they have to work full-time or have to put in certain hours, that they want to, because it's such a massive opportunity. 8 is you have to have a proven sales model. I mean, don't use commission only reps to test a market or to test a product. See if this works. I'll put a commission only rep and see if someone buys this. No. You have to have a proven model, a proven sales system, proven scripts, strategies, marketing materials, slide decks, all of that have to be like ready to go. So your salespeople can just plug and play. So again, all of that goes into the sales playbook and into that 1 week, boot camp style training. But the commission only rep should be used to scale a model that's working, right? Not to test a model. You just again, people can't invest the time to see if something will work. They need to know that it's working, and then just plug and play the formula. Number 9, you have to have a scalable product. And that's the final thing. If your company can't handle the influx of sales and the increased business, there's really no point in building a commission-only team, because you don't need to scale, right? If you're limited to the hours that you can invest, for instance, if you're selling consulting services and it's by the hour, you'll need to hire, you're limited by the time on your calendar and how many hours you can consult, right? So it doesn't make sense to have a scalable sales model if your company's not scalable. But if you have, like, let's say a SaaS product where you can keep adding on customers without having to increase the support, the infrastructure much. I mean, of course, eventually you'll have to add more customer service reps and things like that. But if your product is limited to, time or geographic location and things like that, then it doesn't really make much sense to invest what it takes to build a commission-only model. And so finally, what I want to leave you with, What are we coming up to here? Because, you know, my goal, I'm over my goal, damn it. My goal is 15. Hey guys, okay, we got some bots here in our chat. Yes, it's a live video. So, and you can ask questions in the chat. I will answer them. But the point is that commission only is not the same as free. You still need to be investing a ton in marketing, recruiting, training, leadership, all of that, bonuses, incentives, and rewards. What it is scalable. So instead of hiring 5 reps, you can use that money to have 25, 50, 100 reps and totally dominate the market. So if you're wondering how to build this commission only sales model and how to build that compensation plan that is competitive and totally, dominates whatever else is in the market and totally competitive and will make people want to work with you over anybody else, check out a training that I have. I'm going to put a link below. It's with Vincent Roazzi, who's a master compensation planner and builder. And we did a workshop on how to build a commission-only sales compensation plan. And it goes over step-by-step exactly, how to calculate what the commission rates are, the incentives, the bonuses, the rewards, the overrides, all of that was completely, we go through it all in a 70-minute training. So I'll leave you with that. That link's below this video right now. And I will see you guys next week at 10 a.m. Eastern. Have a great week. Bye, guys.